So I just leveled up our living room with the Hisense L9Q, my first ultra short throw laser TV, and the coolest part, the setup stays completely out of sight until I need it. Our living room setup has been the same for years, a wall-mounted TV and a media cabinet I love, but that layout doesn't really work with the L9Q. I also didn't want to take down the TV or swap in a fixed projector screen. I do currently have a motorized screen up here, but it is an ALR, and even though it works fine with a standard projector, it's just not practical for an ultra short throw. Sure, I could try mounting the drop-down screen closer to the wall, but I actually found a better, way cooler solution. We'll talk more about it later in the video, but right now, let's unbox the L9Q. When I first saw the L9Q, it just feels different. It doesn't look like a typical projector, it actually looks like something you would want on display. The copper accents and the clean texture design give it this upscale vibe, almost like a modern piece of furniture. It fits right in with a nice living room setup instead of sticking out. As for size, the L9Q feels premium but not bulky. It measures approximately 24.2 inches wide, 13.6 inches deep, and 6.3 inches tall, making it easy to fit on most media cabinets while still giving you plenty of stability for alignment. Setting up the Hisense L9Q is surprisingly straightforward for a premium ultra short throw projector. Once you unbox it and place it on your media cabinet, the first step is simply positioning it at the right distance from your wall or screen. Because it uses a 0.181 throw ratio, it sits very close to the wall, much closer than a traditional projector, so you don't need a long room or complicated mounting. Most of the time, it's just a matter of sliding it slightly forward or backward until the corners line up, but in my case, I use a remote to adjust the cabinet in and out. The adjustable feet also help level the image without having to reposition your furniture. Brand called Shore, and it's made specifically for ultra short throw setups. I first saw it on my friend Dennis's Instagram account, and I knew I needed to have it. By the way, make sure to check out his account if you want some serious home theater inspo. Now this thing shows up in a massive crate, close to 400 pounds, and then there's a second box just for the motorized floor rising screen. There's zero assembly required, so all I had to do was gracefully remove it from the box. Now that I got the easy part out of the way, the next step was just getting all three cabinet sections lined up. And the back of this cabinet was designed specifically to accommodate the floor rising screen, so it simply sits in place without needing to be mounted. It's made from solid wood and veneer with this clean semi-matte black finish, and it actually feels really well built. The main reason I went with this cabinet is the whole motorized review experience. With one tap on the remote, the screen rises up and the center section of the cabinet slides forward to review the Hisense L9Q. It's super cool to watch and definitely a conversation starter when people come over. Okay, so here's how it works. The 120-inch screen is its own unit with a simple power cable. Included with the screen is a small USB wireless adapter that pairs with the screen. The wireless adapter and the cabinet's USB cable both plug into a basic USB hub, and that hub connects to the USB port on the back of the L9Q. Once that's set up, everything just works automatically. When I power on the projector, the cabinet and screen sense the signal and turn on by themselves. The screen rises, the cabinet opens, and you're ready to watch. And when I turn off the projector, the screen drops back down and the cabinet closes itself. It's seamless and honestly feels way more high-end than I expected. I really love how clean and minimal the whole setup looks. The front panels uses a mesh design which not only looks good but also helps a lot with airflow. Super important if you're storing other devices inside. I've got a NAS server, an Apple TV, and an 8-port switch in there, and so far I haven't run into any heat issues. My only real complaint with this cabinet is the lack of a cutout or grommet for cable management, especially if you're planning to run a soundbar like I am. Unlike a regular cabinet, you can't just toss the cables to the back due to the screen. So the workaround that ended up working for me was leaving a small gap between the cabinet and the screen. The motorized screen just rests on top of the cabinet. Nothing actually locks it in place, which is how it's designed. I could probably come up with a custom way to secure it, but honestly, it's been working totally fine as is. And even though there's a little gap, I barely notice it anyway. And since this cabinet sits much lower than my old one, it ended up exposing the wall outlets behind it. For the two on the sides, I found a decent workaround by picking up these power strips that have a flat plug and a cover. They do a pretty good job of hiding the outlets. As for the center section, I'm still stuck. I haven't figured out a clean solution yet, so if you guys have any ideas, definitely drop them in the comments. I love to hear what you would do. Well anyways, that's my full experience with the Hisense L9Q and this entire hidden 120-inch setup. It's been a huge upgrade for our living room, and honestly, it's changed the way we watch TV and movies at home. If you have any questions about the L9Q, the cabinet, or the setup, feel free to drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.